Hello and welcome to Drive It, the DW Car Show. Coming up, a new edition of a classic roadster, the Fiat 124 Spider. Jaguar's luxury crossover, the F-Pace. And exploring Prague in Skoda's new Citigo.
Our tester Ines Petri says she's in Skoda's homeland, the Czech Republic, in Prague to be precise. But why walk around town when Skoda's new Citigo is here? Skoda has given its little city runabout a major facelift, and the Monte Carlo Special Edition adds some details that give the car more sportiness and pep. It comes with a choice of 3 engines. We're testing the more powerful of the two 1-liter gasoline engines on offer. It generates 55 kilowatts of power, enabling the Citigo to hit a top speed of 173 kilometers an hour. When it comes to fuel consumption, Skoda says the car uses just 4.4 liters per 100 kilometers. The third engine option is a natural gas-powered model. Ines says in the city the engine she tested had no trouble keeping up with traffic, but she notes that on inclines, you notice that 95 newton-meters of torque isn't a lot. Then you have to downshift and simply ride out the gears. The Citigo is available in 3-door and 5-door versions. The special edition Monte Carlo features alloy wheels, a lowered sport suspension, checkered flag foils, and a roof spoiler. We're testing the 3-door version. It has 251 liters of cargo space, initially just as much as the 5-door model. Taking out the removable false floor increases trunk space, and with the rear seats folded down, the 3-door model boasts 951 liters of cargo capacity, just 8 liters less than the 5-door model, with its rear seat bench folded down. Inside, this Citigo has a new dashboard and a multifunction leather steering wheel. Drivers can connect their smartphones to the vehicle's new Swing infotainment system using the Move and Fun app. The red stitching on the steering wheel and the red and black upholstered seats give the car a sporty look. The storage compartment under the passenger seat is one of Skoda's simply clever solutions. It's a handy spot to keep an umbrella and safety vest, but the Citigo has plenty of other nets, holders, hooks. Ines feels that the Monte Carlo's interior is a perfect match for its sporty exterior. She doesn't have the impression they skimped on materials. The seats are height adjustable to allow space on all sides. The large windows give an impression of airiness. This car even has a panoramic sunroof. Just turn the rotary switch to let the sun shine in. Optional on regular Citigos is Skoda's City Safe Drive Emergency Braking System. It monitors traffic in front of the car and can prevent fender benders at speeds of up to 30 kilometers an hour. Practical light and rain sensors are also included in the package. In Prague's winding alleys, Ines feels the Citigo shows itself to its best advantage. The electromechanical power steering, which comes as standard in all models, is a real help to drivers. Ines says you can get a Monte Carlo Special Edition Citigo for less than 12,000 euros in Germany. With it, City Safe Drive comes as standard. Options like heated seats can be ordered extra. Ines says personally, she'd always opt for the 5-door model, as it's a bit more practical in day-to-day use. Luckily, it's also offered with the chic Monte Carlo trim. In Germany, the 5-door Citigo versions cost just 480 euros more than their respective 3-door ones, so they're a good investment. Prices for Skoda's little runabout start at around 10,000 euros. Our car tester Emmanuel Schaefer says it's only been 2 years since Mazda launched the CX-3. Now they've already unveiled a revamped CX-3 for the 2017 model year. Few changes were made to the outside, but on the inside, the CX-3 boasts some new technological improvements, like G-vectoring control. It reduces engine torque while cornering and shifts the load to the front wheels. That improves steering response and makes for a more relaxing ride. Changes were also made to the rear axle and shock absorbers to improve passenger comfort. Emmanuel says Mazda has tweaked the CX-3's soundproofing too. He thinks you can really tell. Now you can even drive the CX-3 at high speeds without being bothered by car noise. It's a really pleasant ride.
Absolut angenehmes Reisen.
The new CX-3 has an eye-catching radiator grille with 7 horizontal slats. Chrome winglets extend all the way to the car's headlights. Higher-end trim levels include state-of-the-art, extra bright, and efficient LED lights. The vehicle's rear looks both robust and athletic, as expected for a proper crossover SUV. Emmanuel says the CX-3's trunk has a capacity of 350 liters, not exactly a leader in the segment. You'll have even less space if you opt for a Bose sound system. It'll deliver great sound, but its subwoofer will shrink your trunk space to 287 liters. Emmanuel thinks that's still enough room for a big load of groceries.
Man muss jetzt sagen, das reicht immer noch für einen großen Einkauf, also da geht alles rein.
If you fold down the rear seats, you get an almost level cargo floor. The CX-3 also provides smartphone connectivity. An app will open various social media applications on the color display. Our test car boasts the highest of the 4 trim levels, the Sports line, and comes with a rear-view camera and traffic sign recognition. In almost all CX-3 versions, Cruise-matic cruise control is standard. Smart City brake support is another feature. It can operate up to a speed of 80 kilometers an hour and recognizes pedestrians. The CX-3 can be had with 2 different gasoline engines or a diesel. This test car has front-wheel drive and a small gasoline engine that puts out 88 kilowatts. It accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 9 seconds. The CX-3 is also available as an automatic and with 4-wheel drive. Emmanuel's verdict: it's okay that hardly any changes were made to the 2017 CX-3. The CX-3 was a decent vehicle from the get-go and just 2 years old, so it's understandable that Mazda thought, why change a winning formula? Opel in Britain Vauxhall has just unveiled the new Insignia Sports Tourer station wagon. The exterior, the interior, and the technology have all been worked over.
For the first time, this new generation Insignia offers intelligent all-wheel drive with torque vectoring, an 8-speed automatic transmission, and a 360-degree camera system. A head-up display is standard too. In Germany, an entry-level Insignia Sports Tourer lists for about 27,000 euros. BMW Motorrad has launched a limited edition HP4 Race motorcycle. The edition is limited to 750 units. The BMW HP4 Race weighs just 171 kilograms with the fuel tank full. That's made possible by a carbon fiber mainframe and carbon wheels. They're 30% lighter than alloy wheels. The carbon frame, airbox cover, and bench seat all have the BMW HP Motorsports color finish. With 158 kilowatts of power, this is a real superbike. Car tester Michelle Assenmacher wants us to know it's 30 degrees and sunny and she has to work, but working in a convertible like this is almost like being on vacation. And this particular car is almost like being on vacation in Italy. Her mood improves with every kilometer in Fiat's new 124 Spider, a tribute to the original Spider that debuted over 50 years ago. This new version merges genuine roadster feeling with the handling of a sports car. Michelle sees the Spider as a real fun mobile. It has great pickup, heads into curves beautifully, and looks nice and snappy. At 103 kilowatts and 240 newton meters of torque, the Fiat specs don't really promise much in the way of sporty driving, but its top speed of 217 kilometers an hour makes it quick as a flash. Firstly, the 124 Spider only weighs 1,125 kilos, so the engine has a fairly light job. Secondly, the car hugs the driver's body tightly. Thirdly, the seats are so low and the cornering so stable that the driving experience feels more intense than in almost any other car of this price range. Fourthly, doing 150 kilometers an hour whips just as much wind through the occupant's hair as doing 250 in a Porsche. But this little raceabout reminds Michelle of another roadster, though not from the outside. Without the Fiat logo on the steering wheel, she couldn't have said for sure if she was driving a Fiat 124 Spider or a Mazda MX-5. The resemblance is not coincidental. The Spider is built on the Mazda MX-5's platform, but at least Fiat has its 124 Spider back in its range half a century after rolling out the original. What's important is that an educated look says Roadster and not MX-5. The horizontal taillights, long nose, and curvaceous hips all shine with typical Italian flair. The classic silhouette is beefed up to athletic proportions. The dual-exit exhausts complete the sports car design. This Spider is more for fun than for carrying people and cargo. 190 kilos are allowed, including driver and passenger, so the trunk only takes a meager 140 liters volume. 8 centimeters tall, Michelle had to push the seat all the way back to get comfortable. But if the driver feels squeezed in, the passenger will too. And if a tall person gets in and bends their knees, a bulge on center tunnel makes it feel even more cramped. The inside reveals the Spider and MX-5's common basis. Both could use more legroom, and the seats feel tight in an already fairly cramped interior. And both cars have 4 of their 9 Bose sound system loudspeakers integrated into the headrests. The leather steering wheel is standard. The Lusso equipment line we tested includes air conditioning and leather seats, among other things. The 7-inch touchscreen rising from the dash was also taken from the Mazda. It only takes a pull and a push to put the top up or back down in a few seconds whenever desired. In Germany, the basic model Fiat 124 Spider lists at just under 25,000 euros. Fun and fast times come at no extra charge. In 2013, Jaguar and Land Rover combined into one company, but nobody ever expected Jaguar to roll out an SUV. And yet, just 2 years later, here it came, sporting the proud and illustrious Big Cat logo in its badging. Car tester Andre Zimmermann wonders if such a workhorse for the masses can be a true Jaguar, or is it more a pussycat? On the outside, the F-Pace definitely has something of the Jaguar about it. The design is inspired by Jaguar's F-Type sports coupe. The F-Pace we tested had the R-Sport trim with bi-xenon headlights and 19-inch rims. Our car was powered by Jaguar's first 2-liter twin-turbo engine, putting out 177 kilowatts and hurling the car's heft from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.2 seconds. The twin-turbo charging gives it a nice, wide rev range. Inside, we found a fully digital instrument cluster, two-tone leather seats, and the driving mode selectors. Andre explains that it's mainly the drivetrain that gives the F-Pace its sporting credentials. Its all-wheel drive puts the weight towards the back. In contrast to the all-wheel drive offered by many car makers, that's based on front-wheel drive. This makes a difference, for instance, when heading into curves. Understeering isn't so much a problem here, and being pushed from behind instead of pulled from the front gives it more of a sports car feel. So this cat doesn't pussyfoot around as much as trump like an elephant with its thumping curb weight of 1.8 tons. Even if the F-Pace makes sure the kilos aren't as noticeable, they're still there. The F-Pace can switch from rear-wheel to all-wheel drive in 1/10 of a second, but it only does so when the road gets slippery. Under normal conditions, only rear-wheel drive is engaged. The F-Pace's dynamic drive mode can be used as the sport setting or configured to individual tastes. What Andre especially likes about the dynamic mode is how it sets the suspension. It's a bit stiffer, but not so much as to make it uncomfortable. Many car makers are convinced that the suspension has to be hard as a board and completely uncomfortable to qualify a car as sporty, but he disagrees. Since the F-Pace is an SUV, we can do with a bit more comfort than in real sports cars. A big help is the active dynamic system, which analyzes not only the road surface, but also the driving style up to 500 times a second and adjusts the suspension accordingly. The equipment package costs around 1,500 euros extra in Germany and also includes the configurable dynamic mode. As far as Andre is concerned, the F-Pace is more a pussycat than a real predator after all. That's primarily because SUVs are now targeted at the general car-buying public, so they have to be able to please everyone. That keeps them from being uncompromisingly sporty. Even so, the handling is definitely sportier than with most SUVs, so this is a good choice for people looking for something a bit sportier, but not necessarily a higher-up race car. A high center of gravity and weight always takes away from the sportiness, of course, but the F-Pace is a vital part of Jaguar's model range. Since it hit the showrooms, the brand's worldwide sales have risen by 77%, and the SUVs roll onward. The VW Beetle sold over 21.5 million units during its record-breaking 65-year history. The very last Beetle rolled off the production line at VW's plant in Puebla, Mexico in 2003. Indisputably, this is the cult car from Germany. The first prototypes appeared in 1935, explains our car man Christoph, but the Second World War cut short plans for mass production. That finally got underway in 1945, the starting year of an amazing success story.
Der Käfer für die Massen produziert und damit beginnt eine unglaubliche Erfolgsgeschichte.
But this Beetle was no mass production model. It was one of just 10 built by hand, not in Wolfsburg or Mexico, but in Switzerland. This extremely rare species of Beetle goes by the name Volkswagen Beutler pickup. It came to life in 1950. Christoph says after the war, German industry was at rock bottom. People had to improvise and work with whatever they had. What they had was the Beetle, so someone got the idea of using the dependable VW as the basis for a van. What every transporter needs is a cargo bed. Mounting this rather bulky component on the rounded rear of the Beetle in a halfway elegant manner required an artistic touch. Swiss coach builder Beutler was up to the task. In addition to the Volkswagen pickup, Beutler also made small station wagons based on the Beetle. This pickup can carry a load of up to 380 kilograms, the weight of another 5 passengers. But with its 25 horsepower, Christoph isn't too sure whether it can get going at all. He says Beutler had its roots in the construction of fancy sports coupés and convertibles. It was a design house like Bertone, Giugiaro, and Pininfarina. So when it was asked to build a commercial vehicle, it added a touch of elegance. The split rear window was replaced by a single rectangle. But look how this cargo platform nestles on this shapely rear, and then there's still a canvas sunroof. It's as luxurious as a pickup can get. Though it was born in the Swiss town of Thun, there's no denying this Beetle's heritage. The striking rear with the iconic split oval window had to give way to the loading area. Thanks to their good connections, brothers Ernst and Fritz Beutler received the basic body shells direct from VW's German factory. The delicate 2-spoke steering wheel and all kinds of chrome embellishments show these Beetles were really the more expensive export version. And here in the back is the legendary VW Boxer engine with 1.1-liter displacement and 18 kilowatts of power. He'd really like to show it, but that's not easy because you have to unhook the cover here and squeeze. It's a bit fiddly. He wonders how another 380 kilograms would affect the car with so much weight on the rear axle already. Would the front wheels stay on the road? You could hardly have wished for a better commercial vehicle engine. Worldwide, the air-cooled and unpretentious VW Boxer enjoyed a reputation of absolute reliability. You'll probably never see the Beetle pickup on public roads. The German-Swiss project came to an end after only a few were built. He says the Volkswagen Beutler pickup soon got some tough competition from within its own ranks. In 1952, a flatbed version of the VW bus went on the market. It could haul 900 kilos and cost less than the hand-built Beetle pickup. So it's no wonder that just under a dozen of these were produced, and Beutler itself used the first 5.
Knappes Dutzend entsteht und die ersten 5, die soll die Firma Beutler sogar selbst als Dienstwagen genutzt haben.
The reason was simple. The price of 8,000 Swiss francs was out of reach of most small businesses in 1950. Even if it was a commercial flop, the concept of the VW Beutler pickup was groundbreaking. Christoph says the Volkswagen Beutler pickup is an impressive example of the VW Beetle's versatility. Who'd have thought that a Swiss coach builder could transform this little car into a bona fide workhorse? It also set a shining example for later small delivery vans from VW, such as the Fridolin, which hauled mail bags in Germany for decades. It's clear the Volkswagen Beutler pickup is a milestone in automotive history. Because it's so rare, the VW Beutler pickup is much more expensive today than in the early 1950s. These days, early and exotic Beetles have a big following. And next time on Drive It, let the sun shine in. Mercedes' new E-Class Cabriolet is a fun four-seater convertible. And an affordable sports car. We put the Subaru BRZ to the test.